Hi, this is Jim Sackman, your Focal Point Business Coach, and we're continuing our series on building your team. And the last time we talked about the interview process, and at this point, I'm making an assumption that you figured out how you're going to select the employee out of the group of people that you invited, and that you're onboarding them. Now, onboarding is a word that seems like it's relatively new and seems obscure, but it essentially means all the things that you do to bring a person on board and make them productive within your company. And there's lots to that. And I'm going to talk about it today at a general level, and then next week I'll get into some more specifics on on a couple of topics. Now, it starts with the offer. Now, for most people, they're going to require, and you should expect to give them a written offer of employment. There's lots of reasons for that. You can put some legalese in there about the terms and conditions of your offer, but most importantly, employment is at any level a business deal, and you should treat it with the same level of respect as you do any other contract that you engage with people. And you should look at this like an employment contract, even if it's an implied contract, and even if it's not fully stated. And yes, we're in California, we're in an at-will employment state, but you need to be thinking about everything that you want to tell the person legally about what you're going to do, what you're going to give them in the offer. The onboarding process ends when the person's completely integrated into the company and completely productive. And that means that they're fulfilling their duties on a daily basis without having to ask questions about, where's the bathroom, but more importantly, what about some aspect of the job that's obscure. So it is a long time, generally 3 to 6 months from the offer letter until somebody's completely integrated with a firm. Now, some topics that you need to think about. One is an employee handbook. Now, a lot of employers don't like to have it. They don't like to be very formal. They don't want to hand anything out. But the reality is you have rules. You're going to want to enforce those rules. And the only way you can really do that is have them written down and have your employees know them, which is what your employee handbook is about, which is all the guidelines, the ways you want people to act in specific detail, things that you can do, actions that you will take based on certain, things that people do. It's really important. There are lawyers out there that can help you with this, employment attorneys. Theoretically, you can go on the web and find some for free. You need to be concerned about the quality of those, but at least that's a place to start. Second one is personnel reviews. Many people don't want to sit there and talk about an employee's performance with them, but the reality is you're going to have to. They want to know. You need to talk to them. So they should know how they're doing on an ongoing basis, but you should schedule a formal point at which there's going to be a process and a review. Now, we're going to talk more about this later when we get into performance management, but personnel reviews are something you need to consider. You need to plan in whether you're going to do them for everybody all at once, or you're going to do them based on time of employment, or how you're going to do them, but you need to be planning on them. Next thing is training. No matter how good the hard skills are of somebody you hire, there are processes and procedures within any company that nobody knows about until they're inside the company. There's also a language inside every company. When I was at AFC, we had this term called the NLEX, and nobody had ever heard of an NLEX. Nobody even knows what that means. And what it was a local telephone company that wasn't part of the original Bell operating system, but was national or multi-regional. And those companies acted in a specific way. They purchased in a specific way, and were different than either small telephone companies, what were called the IOCs, the independent operating companies, or the regional Bell operating companies as they used to exist. There were 3 different purchasing behaviors, and so we categorized people by which group they were in. But that NLEC term was only inside of AFC. Nobody had ever heard of it. So if you came in from the outside and we said, well, what about the NLEC marketplace? They'll go, oh, what the heck's that? So every company has not only its own processes and procedures and tools, but it has its own language, and people need to be trained on that. And you need to think about how somebody's going to be brought up to speed in all those things in an effective way. And then finally, you need a mentoring system. Now, in a sole proprietorship, if you hire one person, guess what? You're their mentor. But in a larger company, You're going to need to assign somebody to help onboard them, the person that they're first going to go to that they can ask questions of. Now, in many cases, it's going to be their personnel supervisor, but in some cases, it may be a senior employee that they're going to work very closely with. So it's something to think about and keep track of as you do this. And you want to plan all these things before you hire a person. This is Jim Sackman, Focal Point. Change your business, change your life. Have a great day.